The Longing for Something More by Gretchen Haley. Every little thing that breaks your heart is welcome here. We'll make a space for it. Give it its due time and praise for the wanting it represents, the longing for something more, some healing hope that remains not yet. We promise no magic, no making it all better, but offer only this circle of trust, this human community that remembers, though imperfectly, that sings and prays, though sometimes awkwardly, this gathering that loves, though not yet enough. We're still practicing, after all, still learning, still in need of help and partners, still becoming able to receive all this beauty, all these gifts we each bring. Come, let us worship together. Our introit is thanks to Olga this week.
We ain't got much to report.
Pam, are you able to share that?
Listen to your heart, or the rose. It's the rose, right?
The rose, yes.
Sorry, I'm so slow.
I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open.
And now for the chalice lighting. In the mystery of life about us, there is light, by George Kimish Beach. In the mystery of life about us, there is light. It gives us a place to be, to grow, to rejoice together. It opens the pathways to love. In this place of friendship, there is freedom. Let the light we kindle go before us, strong in hope, wide in goodwill, inviting the day to come. Oh my goodness. All the matches are not working. Just a moment.
Here.
Here we go.
And now we'll sing When Our Heart is a Holy Place. We hold each other in love this morning as we offer the opportunity to bring our personal joys, sorrows, and struggles into this space. And so if you have something on your heart that you would like to share today, you can find that little raise hand button or type yes in your chat box, or if you wish, raise your hand like this. That's a lot for Dennis to keep track of, but I think he's up to the task. And remind to this morning, we're grateful for our tablets and computers and phones, all the technology that brings us together today. We're grateful for medical care and food and shelter and the many comforts we enjoy. We feel blessed that many of us have enough for our needs, and we welcome the warm weather and the ability to get outside. How grateful we are for the love and care of this community. And we're also grieving and concerned today, grieving the many needless deaths, still increasing day by day in far too many places, grieving losses large and small, so many hopes and dreams deferred or left behind, missing our friends and family, hungry for hugs and human physical connection. We worry for those who are hungry today, who are homeless, who have lost their jobs and businesses, who have far too much to do or not enough. We worry for the people who are isolated right now. May our hearts and hands bless those who grieve and worry and struggle. All of these we hold in our hearts today as we sing together, Draw the Circle Wide.
You just took it away.
And now we have a responsive reading, which will be, I'll start and Kathleen will say the second part, and anyone who would like to join in, just as though we were in our pews at church, please do. Impassioned Clay by Ralph N. Helverson. Deep in ourselves resides the religious impulse.
Out of the
Passions of our clay, it rises.
I need to unmute. Kathleen, you need to unmute. There we go. Unmute. We have religion when we stop deluding ourselves that we are self-sufficient, self-sustaining, or self-derived.
We have religion when we hold some hope beyond the present, some self-respect beyond our failures.
We have religion when our hearts are capable of leaping up. And I can't see the bottom there.
You need to get it right on the white. There we go.
Ah,
See this?
at beauty. Sorry. We have religion when our hearts are capable of leaping up at beauty, when our nerves are edged by some dream in the heart.
We have religion when we have an abiding gratitude for all that we have received.
We have religion when we look upon people with all their failings and still find in them good. When we look beyond people to the grandeur in nature and to the purpose in our own heart.
We have religion when we have done all that we can and then in confidence entrust ourselves to the life that is larger than ourselves.
Thank you. And now we have an anthem. Listen, listen to my heart's song. This day that honors mothers, let us honor all nurturers, generous souls who from somewhere in their being have freely and wholeheartedly given life and sustenance and vision to us. Divine goodness, grant us life-giving ways, strength for birthing, and a nurturing spirit, that we may take attentive care of those precious beings entrusted to us by biology, or by destiny, or by friendship, fellowship, or fate. Give us a mothering heart today. Amen. And blessed be. Praise song for the pandemic.
Praise be the nurses and doctors, every medical staff bent over flesh to offer care, for lives saved and lives lost, for showing up either way. Praise for the farmers tilling soil, planting the seeds so food can grow, an act of hope if ever there was. Praise be the janitors and garbage collectors.
It has to be redone. There was two different things overlapped from last week. It has to be redone. It's not supposed to be like this. Okay.
You're on mute.
Technology, right?
It
That's
was-
okay. We will hear it. We will hear it again at the end of the service, and hopefully by itself.
It was beautiful anyway, I thought.
Yeah.
I agree.
At first, it seemed like it's right thing. Yes.
All right. my sermon.
I know.
Yeah, go ahead. All right. So I have a couple of people that I follow on Facebook. One of them is Ginger because she puts so many inspiring things up there that I need to hear. Another is Jordan Nelson Long, the UU minister in Fairhaven, Massachusetts. And this morning she wrote, I guess yesterday, I saw it this morning. She wrote, "This morning I went for a walk and on the way back, I encountered a man on Cherry Street. He was up on his porch. This is a town given to porches, juggling 2 half flats of green leaves on his lap and leaning over to inspect 3 more. Nice plants, I called, full of gardening solidarity, if not wit. And he smiled, hands full, and replied, 'Hey, are you the one I always see running by here?' I stopped walking and conceded that I might be. I run a lot. And then we had one of those quick interviews that are the province of old neighbors encountering new ones. How long have we been here? Whose house did we buy? Do we like it? Are we from town originally? I answered and tossed some names out by way of land and history orientation. He replied and threw some other names my way in a spirit of rejoinder, and then, ritual completed, I said, nice to meet him, and it was, and turned toward home. But then he cried out again, 'Do you want a pepper?' I turned back, surprised, and smiled. 'That's all I've got here,' he explained. 'I got a little carried away at the plant sale this morning. I have red pepper, green pepper, purple pepper, hot pepper. Really, I have more than I need.' I was duly impressed and said so. And then I passed on his offer, laughing. The thing is, I have probably 30 pepper seedlings of my own, started on a lark while making chili one evening. I think every one of them sprouted. I have so many I have stopped swapping for other things and begun simply offering plants to anyone who will commit to grow food. If there's anything I do not need, it's a pepper." No was the logical answer, and so it surprised me all the way home. I imagined turning around to ask for one of the purple ones. I pictured myself carrying it against my hip, managing the heft of the small growing thing as one might a toddler. I considered holding my hands out, receiving its weight. And by the time I made it pepperless to my front door, I could imagine the exchange, not of the squash plant I offered, he, like me, laughed a demurral, but of that ineffable something else that takes root underneath property lines, flowing between neighbors and through neighborhoods. I learned in law school that to make a deal, you need not only offer an acceptance, but a little something called consideration. And consideration doesn't mean manners. It means putting your butt on the line. In a legal sense, consideration is usually cash, but what it demands is having skin in the game. So they offer you a thing and you say you'd like it, and then you put something of value on the table. You agree to believe in the thing that you're going to do together enough to be willing to prove it tangibly. The thing is, it's not just that I didn't need a pepper, and frankly, I don't know the first thing about gardening. Maybe what I need is 50 peppers and a rabbit-proof fence. And we don't have any purple ones. I didn't even know that there were purple ones. I passed on my neighbor's offer automatically, unblinkingly, because I didn't imagine that I had anything in return to give. I didn't make a deal because of what I couldn't bring to the table. And in that moment, I forgot how neighbors and neighboring and neighborhoods work, how we are able how we abide in the care of one another, and how we are meant to. Consideration. It's easy to miss what that is. It's ourselves. It's our willingness. It's our mutual promise that we are both still going to be here tomorrow, next week, next year. In community, we give and receive out of the promise of our abiding presence, and also from a deeper well. What we put on the line in community, at least sometimes, is not fair price, but it's sheer opposite. Our assent to owe one another, our willingness to swallow our pride and not make it even, our abandonment of the futile attempt to live fully independent of one another. We agree, in consideration to our neighbors, to be tied to a shared fate. I want to write my acceptance in purple pepper. I thought that was a beautiful reflection. Jordan is a person who writes and shares a lot, sometimes more than once a day. And often it's about something that's made her sit up and take notice. Sometimes it's a funny exchange between her and her two precocious, fearless boys. Those are usually short, and the reader is left to draw their own conclusion. But often, Jordan's noticings are accompanied by a reflection on what she's learning, like the one above. Some new twist or connection she is seeing, like in her story about the peppers. I love reading Jordan's posts because they remind me that all of life is about learning, about growing, about becoming moment by moment something more and different than we were before. To become is a lifelong process. Nothing is constant, not even the self. We evolve. We must have the courage to listen to the truth of our own lives, to the wisdom that comes from within, responding without resistance or need to control, but with welcome and curiosity. This is what ensures that our becoming is an unfolding of our truest self. This lifelong labor cannot be carried out alone. It requires help from friends and lovers and family and beloved community who bear witness to what makes us come alive and who say to us, listen, look, feel, pay attention to that. Listen to the song of your heart. This is loving and being loved. Celebrating new beginnings that excite, holding risks together, leaning into unknowns with the promise of support and companionship, listening to the future, calling uniquely to each of us in the midst of all of life's noise, helping one another find our place in the shared labor of collective life, supporting each other in what it is the world's ache is asking from us. This is loving and being loved. To say for the first time, this is who I am. This is the truth of my body. This is what I know about myself. This is my name, and this is where my path is leading me. And to have it heard, have it received, have it affirmed, and then to say it again and again as we change and as the world changes, and to have each proclamation greeted with an open-armed embrace. This is loving and being loved. We must have the courage to listen to the truth of our own lives and to the wisdom that comes from within. And so right now, I'd like to invite you to a few moments of quiet reflection. What in your life right now is calling you to the truth of who you are? What in your life right now is inviting you to see things in a new light, to stretch a little, to grow? What is your heart calling you to notice today? Who are you and who are you becoming? I invite you to ponder, and if you wish, and have a paper and something to write with, to jot down a few thoughts. And now we're going to invite anybody who would like to share some of their thoughts this morning. Take a couple of minutes, and if you would like to share, raise your hand, either on your computer or like that. Does anyone have any reflections that they would like to share with us this morning?
I'm calling on Corinne first.
Thank you. I wrote, I am a wonderful person. I am becoming smarter, bolder, more successful, more loving towards myself and others, more accepting of my strengths and weaknesses, more discerning of where I spend my time and where and who I choose to invest my energy.
Lovely.
And I'm going to share, I am long-winded and repetitious in presenting my thoughts and ideas. I am becoming succinct.
Lovely, Dennis. Yes. Ginger. Yes.
Can I talk?
Yes.
I am a reader, as many of you know, and sometimes I think of that as a cop-out or a way of staying away from human interaction. But I've realized that I am becoming a more compassionate person, a more loving person. I am looking so forward to hugging each and every one of you again. And meanwhile, it's like in my reading, because I read fiction, nonfiction, biography, history, I'm time traveling and being in places that happen, in events that happened even before I was born. And so my reading isn't just a pastime or a cop-out. It is part of who I am, and it's making me a better person.
Lovely.
And I'm grateful for it.
Thank you. Bonnie, are you raising your hand?
See, she's right there.
Yeah.
Because she's on the phone.
Okay,
There we go.
I wasn't raising my hand.
Oh, okay.
You weren't?
Is there anyone that we've missed?
Right.
I was raising my hand.
Who?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. That's Pam.
Oh,
Deborah.
So I'm trying to be patient and non-anxious, and it feels often challenging to be patient and non-anxious. And I'm becoming more and more aware of what is most important. And like the little prince, I find what is essential is often invisible to the eye.
Nice.
And now I'm going to unmute
Caroline?
Caroline. Yep.
Okay.
So I came to this service this morning in kind of a dark place, and when the Rose song came on, I thought maybe I've learned that the rose doesn't always open, which wasn't a good place to be. And I want to say that this exercise was wonderful for me. And when I looked at that, I thought, I am in charge, and I'm becoming something unpredictable at this time. And thank you for stirring a little bit of that fight. That's resting somewhere down in the embers.
Lovely. Thank you for sharing that.
Have we any other hands? Linda, I think that's all of us.
All right. Thank you. John O'Donohue wrote, "There are no manuals for the construction of the individual you would like to become. You are the only one who can decide this and take up the lifetime of work that it demands. This is a wonderful privilege and such an exciting adventure. To grow into the person that your deepest longing desires is a great blessing. If you can find a creative harmony between your soul and your life, you will have found something infinitely precious. You may not be able to do much about the great problems of the world or to change the situation you are in, but if you can awaken the eternal beauty and light of your soul, you will bring light wherever you go. The gift of life is given to us for ourselves and also to bring peace, courage, and compassion to others." My friends, thank you for this sharing. We become not in isolation, but together as beloved community. There's no me without you. We shape one another. The sacred that birthed us weaves our lives together so that we can only find ourselves through shared becoming. For my journey and all its winding ways, for yours, for all the saints who labored for what is, and all the kin whose lives made ours possible, for all those yet to come, for whom our living our truths today will mean breaking possibilities open for them tomorrow. we pause. We give thanks. We acknowledge. This is loving and being loved. To become is a lifelong process. Oh, there we go. And I leave you with these words from Elaine Kazaya. May my wisest self guide me through this day. May she remind me to look through eyes of wonder and see the abundant beauty of here and now. To live from my toes up, grounded on this precious earth and in this miraculous body, to open my heart. May I be in harmony today with the current that flows through all, and may I be a faithful expression of this sacred source. Here I am. May we listen to the song of our hearts today and every day. May we listen. Kathleen will extinguish the chalice. Are you unmuted,
No,
Kath?
she's not. There she is.
We All Emerge by Eric Williams. We all emerge from dwell within and are transformed by and called back to love. May your mind be humbled before this mystery. May your heart grow hopefully by it. May you be sustained by this love always.
Thank you. Pam, this going to work this time? Okay. Thank you, everyone who has joined us, who's worked on this service. And now we will be invited into breakout rooms for coffee hour, and then come back together here in the main room for a few moments before we go on with our day.